Hi, it's the perfect time to plant up moss hanging baskets or big Victorian hanging baskets like the ones you see in Victoria or the ones that you see in New Westminster. Uh, it's something that we normally do with a wire frame, and it may be lined with sphagnum moss, or it could be lined with this material, which is a cocoa liner or a cocoa fiber liner. This is a little trickier because you have to be able to cut holes where you want to plant, but it's a little bit more sustainable. I want to try and show you how to do that. I've not done it before, so we're going to be doing this together. I'm Scott from GARDENWORKS. I've got a few other tips and tricks about planting these baskets that I'll share with you along the way. All right, well, there's a few things that you should have before you start. Of course, you've got a wire frame basket and you've got your cocoa liner. You should also get a saucer. This basket is about a 14-inch diameter basket on top, and this 8-inch saucer fits in perfectly. And you just put that right in the bottom. It helps hold the water and helps hold the soil in, but it helps hold the water a little longer when you water the plant. So you just pop that right in. The other things you'll need is a slow-release fertilizer and a good potting soil. And you should have a pair of sharp snips and maybe a little X-Acto knife or utility knife, because those will all come helpful when we're cutting through the liner. And then, of course, you got a big choice of plants. Most people, and I'm no different, like to plant a geranium in the middle and then plant a bunch of bushy plants and trailing plants all around the sides. So that's your checklist for the things you'll need. For something like this, 3, 6, 9, 12, 18, probably around 21, 25 plants total is what you'll need to fill this completely, and then it'll be absolutely stunning. Okay, so we're going to really get into this now. The first thing you would have done is, I did this before, because you have to be patient with some of these things, and this was one of them. Cutting the cocoa liner to fit the basket. I've got it in 2 pieces, because of course the basket is circular, and so cut the cocoa liner and then start filling with soil. And the way I suggest you doing it, you don't fill it all the way up, because the easiest way to plant, or the way you really need to plant, is in layers as you go. So you fill it up to the first layer, and then you'll have to cut little holes in. I did want to comment about the plants, and then I'm just going to get into this, but when you make choices of plants, there's so many things to choose from. You want to choose a bunch of trailing plants, and then you can choose upright plants for the top layer, and you can choose little bushy plants that don't trail way down on the sides. One thing you should do, though, is have more than one of the same plant. You don't want just a complete mishmash. You want to have something that where the plants repeat throughout the basket, so that really makes it very effective visually, as opposed to just a complete mess. But on the other hand, you could do a complete mess and that'd be okay too. Okay, let's get going. Well, that was some work for sure. It definitely takes a little more patience than doing just the sphagnum moss basket, but I think I'm glad. I think it's worth the result. Some of the plants are not going to look great right away because they will take a couple of days or maybe even a week to establish themselves, and then it'll start to grow and fill in. And then you know the goal is that you won't see very much of that liner in the end, so it won't matter much what it was, whether it was a sphagnum moss liner or a cocoa liner. And so always important when you're finished to water the plants in, and that really is about as much about getting the soil to settle around the root system and firm itself around the pot or the plants and the roots as it is anything else. So looks pretty on the video too. Okay, I counted these up, and there was, I think it was 21 or 22. I've already lost track now. 21 or 22 plants that we used in here. There might have been a couple actually that didn't have a label with them. So if this turns out really well, you'll certainly want to know what it is you planted for next time. Even if it's just one or two things you say, wow, I really like that. And what the heck was that? Oh, the stroblianthese, purple passion. Who's going to remember that? So either you can store them by just placing them in the basket, which guarantees they will be there at the end of the year for you. Or some people will put them in an envelope and keep them in a file folder or something like that. I usually stick them in the corner. It's a lot of labels though. And then the last thing, the pièce de résistance, will be to put on the hanging basket, or the wire hanger thing. And so you just want to make sure that those are put on nice and firmly so that it doesn't fall off, because it gets heavy. It's a heavy basket in the end. So you want to find one of the little cross pieces and make sure that you use that so that it doesn't slip around. It'll keep it firmly in place that way. And then you just twist it around. Pretty straightforward. It's kind of like doing a twist tie on a pack of bread. Oh, there you go. Wow, it's heavy. It is a real project to plant up these moss hanging baskets or the baskets with the liner. And I think it's a little bit more work to do the liner. You just take your time. There's a few little tricks you find that won't hurt, like pinning the liner in place if it's moving around on you or something like that. I found that generally though, as it went along, it gets easier and easier as you get closer to the top. Pick fun plants to do. Don't forget to use the fertilizer, and make sure that you have a place you can place it, full sun location for something like this, and be able to reach it to water it almost daily. Have fun, pick great plants, and keep gardening all spring long. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.